You had a grip bag, didn't you?
I've got multiple wheeled bags, and I still use a wheeled bag today.
Got a TV screen in there.
Yeah.
Mini fridge.
I've got everything I need in
Coffee
there.
maker.
Yeah, coffee maker and a microwave in there.
Everything.
Worst design hockey bag in the world.
It's no.
Okay, for street creds.
Do you know how many? It doesn't matter about street creds. This is the thing. Like, what people don't think about.
What did you have to rent? A transit van to get that in the back?
I want to swear so bad, but what you need to look at
Take it
is...
Rick's van every time he goes to training.
So for you, here's the thing. You two pricks, yeah?
Oh, right.
Where is your equipment right now?
At a rink.
Where does your equipment live?
At the rink.
Stop talking about how we get our equipment to the
mine's
rink.
in the shed at the
Stop
moment,
talking
right
about
now.
how other people get their gear to the rink.
In my slippers.
Off camera, how many... I've seen some...
I had to put them in the washing machine the other day. If you're asking.
Okay.
Well, all right then.
Are you recording?
Let's go, we're going.
Well, that's not making a cut.
I feel like people watching this probably think, oh, they're sitting in a room, it's probably like 12 o'clock at night. No, it's so light outside, but it's dark as here.
It needs to be. It needs to be controlled.
Late at night, it's too early.
Hey guys, welcome to the 10th episode and final episode. Technically final. Are you serious, dude?
Right, we're going to have to clap and start again now.
Oh, that's why I did it, because he never did his clap.
Okay.
Oh, see? Something you asked.
So sweet of you.
Oh, no, try.
Are you joking me right now? How does that...
This is why we need a Gary cam.
This is why we need a Gary cam.
The Gary cam.
Someone's struggling to keep it up this morning.
Actually, yeah, we should bring the Gary cam into effect in season 2.
Yeah, Gary cam. Gary cam. If you want a Gary cam, Gary that's always in the background, that chimes in every now and then to the episodes that we film, comment and let us know because I want to make it happen. Should we have a Gary cam?
We should.
We should have a Gary cam. Alright, I'm going to try to do the intro again.
Okay.
Does that work for everyone?
Yeah, that's fine.
Hey guys, welcome to the 10th episode of the Beyond the Boards podcast. This is technically the final episode of season 1. We're going to be making a couple of changes to the set because of everything that's going on. The idea behind the podcast was to have guests, but because we can't, because a lot of the guests need to fly in, we're going to have a screen over there so we'll be able to have the guests featured in the podcast wherever they are. So looking forward to doing that. And there might be a bonus episode with our original camera operator, Curtis, and Josh, who you saw in the very first episode of this, who have essentially been part of this whole kind of HT journey since everything kicked off. So that will be like a bonus episode at the end of this season. But if you've watched every single episode or listened to every single episode, thank you very much. There will be more. But aside from that, let's jump into this episode. Let's go. So I guess one of the main questions that we always get right now with everything that's going on with the season is, what are your realistic predictions of how you would have thought the NHL season would have ended?
Ended, or what it's going to be like when it carries on?
Ended first. How would it have ended?
I think it's probably, I don't watch a huge amount of NHL anymore. I might catch the odd highlight if I'm, stuck at work, not doing a great deal, or of an evening and such. But I think, yes, winning a league or winning the season is always good in any sport. But you ask anyone that plays sport competitively, the end goal is to, win a trophy and the playoffs. So I know from when it finished, I think kind of Boston was sitting top on 100 points.
But we know that means nothing.
Exactly.
The problem with hockey is so unpredictable.
Yeah.
Anyone can win at any time.
Yeah, but who would you have? I guess it's not who you thought would have won. Who would you have liked to see take it home?
I'd like to see Vegas kind of do it, or obviously being a Dallas fan, I'd like to see Dallas win it. But it's one of those, like Tommy said, you never know. You couldn't put money on a team at the start of the year, and now you probably couldn't put money on a team at the start of playoffs. You look at
you have to wait until after the first round, see how every team
you've
is
got to see how
performing in
people are
playoffs, and then you'll
kind of preparing for it and
make your
going into it.
predictions.
Because you get blindsided every now and then.
Oh, big time. You look at
all
last
the
year,
time.
St. Louis were the worst team in the NHL at the start of 2019. and then they went on and win the Stanley Cup after having caught probably one of the, besides Vegas's run to the Cup in their first franchise year, probably one of the top one or two better runs in hockey history. So.
Fair. In terms of like the teams that are looking the strongest at the start of the season before it was postponed or cancelled or put on hold or however you want to however you want to describe it, who do you think was looking the strongest in terms of like from a coaching perspective, from a lineup of players perspective? Who do you guys think?
Yeah, there's quite a few good teams in the NHL. They've all sort of got their own like star players, if you know what I mean. You had Toronto that was quite stacked up front. You had Tampa Bay that had quite a good load of forwards. That's why it's so hard to predict, because every team has their players, and they just it's hard, man.
You don't think anyone was looking like freakishly?
No,
no
one in the NHL never stands out like anyone else. Like, it's all the highest team in the league can go lose to the lowest team in the league. You cannot predict hockey. It's so unpredictable.
That's what makes it so fun, so much fun to watch, right?
Yeah, the
Exactly.
schedules are so busy. Like Tommy said, you could have, you've got Pittsburgh that have got Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Matt Murray. You've got the Caps that have got Ovechkin, Backstrom, Kuznetsov, and then Holtby and goal. You can never tell. Some teams might have 3 games in 4 days. Some might have 3 games in a week. It's completely unpredictable, and
All of that plays a factor.
Oh, big time. Travel's a huge thing. You don't know how well guys are sleeping in hotel rooms compared to when they're sleeping at home, etc.
I'm sure they're sleeping in nice hotel rooms.
Well, I bet they are, but you can be sleeping in anywhere. You're never going to have the best night's sleep every night. I can vouch for that right now. But
yeah, same
sure,
here.
everyone can.
I don't think anyone's sleeping well right now.
Sleep's a big thing.
I still haven't
big
slept
problem
yet.
for everyone at the moment. So, and it's no different for athletes in any sport.
Why haven't you slept?
I had such a bad sleeping pattern. I had to try and fix it. It was so bad.
So you just decided you'd stay awake?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
I
think
was
first-
staying up till like 7, falling
Yeah,
asleep.
first 3
then.
weeks, you're
And
back
then-
in that serious gaming mode.
Yeah.
You sleep when you
Yeah.
sleep. That's it.
And then waking up at like 5 and then like working out and then just eating dinner. It was terrible.
No, that's,
Yeah, it was
that's
bad.
not for me.
That's why I stayed up the
No,
whole
you've
time.
got to get yourself in a routine again.
So,
if you haven't done already, definitely get yourself in a routine. Cause
Yeah.
I'm sure in the coming next few weeks, things are going to slowly creep back into a bit of normality, and
Definitely.
you got to get your sleep in.
Yeah, because that would not work with training.
Is that what you guys think? Everything's kind of like returning to some semblance of normality now?
Yes and no. I think you're going to have those people that are sitting on the fence with their outlook on, the whole outbreak scenario, and, is it going to get any worse? How much longer can we sit in, utter isolation without going to work? And there's loads of factors that come into it, from a financial and an economic side of things. I don't think we can continue to have, I think it's 70-80% of shops closed and people out of work, people earning no money, and it's going to cause some kind of financial crash if there hasn't been one or isn't one on the
There's
horizon.
one coming.
Exactly.
It's a completely separate thing. But
Yeah,
there's one coming for sure. Like, we could definitely ramble on about how the economy is going to be messed up as a result of everything that's happened. I mean, a lot of it.
You haven't got to be an extremely well-educated person to know that.
Yeah, I mean, if businesses are closed for a pretty long period of time,
Yeah, no money's coming in.
Stuff's going to go crazy.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And in terms of like the whole journey back to hockey, what do you think that's going to look like? And you've obviously seen, like in the UK, we've seen how the governing bodies in the UK, I don't even want to mention the names because for the North American audience, it's pointless. Mm-hmm. But how do you think that's going to go down? And do you think what they've implemented looks like it makes sense? Because at a glance, it really doesn't to me. I'm going to go ahead and say it.
It's going to be the same in everything, not just sport.
Yeah.
All businesses are going to have to put a return to work kind of phase structure in place, as like you just said with the sporting governing bodies in the UK, and I can only imagine worldwide. The 2 metre social distancing is probably going to be around for a while. I don't think this is going to be our kind of normal from now on. Social distancing, being very cautious with who you interact with, whether that be family, friends, loved ones, or even just people you might bump into down doing your local shop. But from kind of a sports perspective, it's going to be very difficult. hockey's a contact sport.
Yeah, like saying that the people are meant to maintain the 2 meter distance thing on the ice. Are
we supposed to skate around with hula hoops attached to us?
So tell me what a face-off looks like now.
Well, exactly, that's it.
Is the puck going to get dropped from the sky, like by a drone?
2 sticks attached together.
That would be good, though.
No, but I'm just
That would
saying,
be decent.
like social distancing, like it's almost like the people that created those rules don't actually know anything about hockey.
Fights will be rock, paper, scissors.
Can you imagine that? Like everyone rips their gloves off, helmets go down, and then it's just like,
Let's go.
Yeah, that's it.
No, it's madness. But this is what I'm saying, that I don't really think it's been very well thought out. Like, how do you play a game and maintain 2 meter social distancing?
It's not even just that. I mean, even if they're cutting down the fans, some teams rely on the motivation from their fans so much.
Yeah.
It will affect teams that way as well.
Yeah,
And on that point, we fall back into the financial side of it as well.
And
Most teams rely, if not 100%, on their fan base. If you've got no bums on seats, you've got nobody paying to watch. The hockey clubs in the UK at certain standards upwards, i.e. EPL or NHL, whatever you want to call it, an elite league solely depend on fans. It's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah, like ticket sales, merch
exactly.
sales.
You've got nothing coming in. You've pretty much kind of slowly eat into what you have or what you already had, and before you know it, that's it. You're back at the bottom, and unfortunately, I could see it being, the end of some teams, not just in hockey, if there is any, but I think kind of sports worldwide that rely on their fans and that have a business plan in place. If you've got no one coming in, you've got no money, it's slowly gonna kind of push you to the bottom. So
it makes you think though, because what we've seen online, like I don't know if you've been keeping up with it, but the I can't remember how long ago it was, maybe a week or two ago or so, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. But the UFC had their first fight with nobody in the stadium, like nobody in the arena.
I wouldn't be able to do it.
But this is the thing.
I could think of nothing worse than playing a sport I love. You prepare yourself differently when you know you're playing a big game.
It would just be like a practice.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be
But there's ways of adapting it. You still have the audiences and stuff like that, but people are just spectating from home.
It's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same.
The atmosphere is completely different, but at the same time, it was interesting from the UFC's perspective because you heard everything that you wouldn't normally hear, aside from hearing every punch, every kick, like literally it impacting.
There was one where a guy got knocked out and took it on the jaw, and it echoed. You can
hear it. So from that perspective, you're so much more engaged because you can hear every single thing that's going on. You can even hear what the coaches are shouting out to the players. Like when you're watching a normal game.
Fighters.
Fighters. You know what I mean. So I'm too much off. But you know what I mean. It's cool from that perspective because a lot of the elements that are lost in the stands because of the crowd, the music, the general atmosphere of the game, there's a lot of things that you don't actually hear. So I know it's not ideal, and I know players would want to be in an environment where they can interact with their fans directly, but would that not be a better solution? Because if teams have good social media followings and they're able to say, you can spectate the entire game from home, this is what it will cost to be able to jump on the live stream. It's like 4K, 8K, like you get to see everything that's going on. Do you know what I mean? Could that potentially be a viable option instead of having to get people to sit 2 meters apart in a stadium?
If your team has the funds to get like a decent camera or someone to actually sit there and do the video and stuff like that, then maybe. But like I said earlier, some teams rely on the fans so much to sort of like lift them up and give them motivation to want to perform. I know the team we play for, the fans, they're there a lot for like, especially if we go down, they try and pick us up. Like there's a lot of teams, especially in English hockey like that are going to struggle.
I think it'd be teams worldwide in general.
Yeah, it's sports in general.
But it's an option though, because if you go down the route of saying the whole 2 meter thing, you would decimate an audience. I mean, if you look at how close people sit in proximity to each other in an arena,
you'd be sitting 3-4 seats apart from the next person.
You would cut the fans down probably about half.
More than half.
Probably a quarter. You'd have 15-20% of fans.
Yeah. So this is my point. So if you had to do that versus just allowing everyone to watch from an online perspective, I think it would be more viable than opening up an entire stadium to like 15-20% capacity, because that's what you've got to do to go by the rules that are now in place. But it's food for thought, because I've seen other professional sports league do it. So could that be a solution for hockey? I know obviously like the NHL could probably roll something like that out and it would still work because people are watching on a very, very big scale.
Yeah.
But when it goes down to other leagues, other countries, other sports that maybe aren't as popular and don't have such a big following, then obviously it might be a different result. But it's just something that I had in my mind that I thought would be worth perhaps even like considering for not necessarily hockey but other sports.
There's two ends of that argument. Yes, like you said, if you were getting fans to interact and pay to watch something at home, it's always a numbers game. How many fans are you going to have, watch? I know we have a live stream at Romford. We get, probably maybe in excess of 200-300 people watch, which, at a charge rate, I don't know what that is.
£10.
Then yeah, there's obviously some financial gain there for the club and whatnot. If you were to do that, like you said, on a global scale, whether that be our league or hockey in general or football, yeah, the financial gain's going to be there. But then the other end of the argument is from a player's perspective. Like Tommy said, fans help out hugely. Whether you're home or away, if you've got a good following. Sorry, there's a fly. If you've got a good following, you'll, I can't even find the words to describe what it would be like playing in front of no fans.
It'd be like an in-the-house scrimmage.
Yeah, it'd be quiet. You'd be able to hear, like you said, everything. Every time a puck hit the glass, it would, probably be a little bit kind of ear piercing. The fans there drown out the rubbish that people don't want to hear. Fill the rink with sometimes what you don't want to hear, obscenities and whatnot. But it just adds to the
It's just part of the game.
Environment.
Yeah.
The amount of people I see online that go to New York or go to somewhere around the world and very well a tourist attraction is ice hockey in some places, and the amount of people I know that have gone to New York, caught a Rangers game or a Knicks basketball game and say, when you watch it on TV you don't realise how loud it is. It's like when you're in that environment and I don't know, a game might get heated or a game might just be a very good game to watch. The amount of people are like, oh, I've seen it abroad, I'm going to come back and find it locally to me. There might be a team that's local to me, and it adds to the growth of the game. Big time.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's when you're flicking through channels.
Got it.
No, you ain't.
Got it.
Oh, you did. Nice.
Fair play. When you're flipping through channels and you come across, yeah, you should really, shouldn't you? That could have been carrying.
Oh, don't say that.
When you flip through channels and you see hockey being played, I'll be honest, I very, very rarely watch hockey on the TV.
Yep. 100% agree with you. I can't watch it.
Yeah, but if you gave me the option of watching a team play versus watching them on the TV,
yeah.
But it's you're gonna pick. I'm gonna go see them play in live. But if you physically don't have the option to go see them play, and the only other option would be to watch them online via a live stream,
Yeah, of course we'll do it.
of course you're gonna do it. And the other argument is, even big NHL games, if it's a game that you really want to see and you find out it's at 5 o'clock in the morning.
It's the same as UFC. Most of Conor McGregor's last fights for the last 5 years have been 4 or 5 in the morning.
That's even boxing, though.
You've got like the AJ fights are savagely
because
late.
they know it's coming.
It's hit and miss. Say out of every 3 AJ fights that have been at silly o'clock, I'll probably wait. If I'm having a boxing night at mine, I've got people over, then it'd be you'd wait up and you'd see it. But I've done that maybe 2 out of 5. Because sometimes you're like, all right, the sun's rising, I'm shattered, this was fun, but I'll just catch the highlights in the morning. Place your bets and then just wait for the highlights in the morning.
I tried it a couple of times. Was it? I think
not
it was
enough
Conor McGregor's fight a few years back where he knocked out Jose Aldo in 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I waited up all night.
Yeah, that is brutal.
Put the TV on, got it all set up. I'm like, cool, I've got the stream. I'm going to run next door to the kitchen and make some food. I heard it about to start, just finished. As I'd walked through the hallway back into my living room, it was over.
Yeah, that's crap.
Sandwich in hand. I was like, what's just happened?
Yeah.
Sitting there, I'm thinking, maybe they've delayed it a little bit because he was running around the ring celebrating like he normally does. I'm like, there's no way. I was like, it hasn't even started. There was nothing on the bottom to say, normally it comes up like McGregor, but nothing, not even a timer. 6 seconds, knocked out with one punch. I was so disappointed. I waited up all night for 6 seconds and I missed it.
Yeah, that is brutal. Do you have Sky? Could you at least whip it back?
Oh,
and
yeah, no,
see it?
I just waited for them to show the replay. And then I was a bit like...
Could have gone to bed and seen that in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the unknown.
No, for sure. But I guess it's an option that could be considered. It's not ideal, but that really leads nicely onto the actual back to hockey instructions.
I haven't even looked at them.
Bit like our government advice.
Yeah.
Not the best.
So, can you just run me through the process of
Yeah, Yeah, because I haven't even
I think
looked
it's
at it, man.
in long story short for people that are watching this, maybe outside of the UK and don't know the UK's government guidelines at the moment. They've kind of done it in a phase situation. So it's a phase 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They've tried to do it very similar, if not identical to that. Obviously, social distancing has taken its place throughout every stage or every phase. Sorry, I think reading it from a player's perspective, it's like I can see why they've done it. But they haven't taken into consideration, well, they probably have tried to take into consideration how the game of hockey is played. Following 2 metre social distancing while playing a competitive game of hockey is going to be non-existent.
It's going to be pointless.
Well, yeah, but it's even. I think there's a lot of questions to be asked. Is it going to get to that stage anytime soon? I know a lot of sports around the world, league-wise, unless they're continuing, obviously the season that was brought to an end. For any kind of new season starting, they're kind of questioning on when it's going to happen. Are they going to try and prolong it as long as they can to see how the situation with COVID-19 escalates, if it gets any worse, if it gets any better. So
After all the protests and stuff, I think it's going to get worse because the people have been in such close proximity for like the last week or so.
Yeah, that's another topic. Basically, like yeah, exactly. This whole 2020 has literally been like a trailer for a disaster movie, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, the Earth is on fire right
You've
now.
had the Australian bushfires that went on for months, if not still going on. You've had countless things. Like the list of bad things that have happened is just...
It's off the charts.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
in my
endless.
lifetime, this has been the worst global year. Because it's not just crazy things happening in one place. It's the world.
Nationwide.
And that's what's been so insane about everything that's going on. But like, it's why having the focus of, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel in terms of being able to get back to what we all love to do is nice. But it's just frustrating to see how many limitations are going to be put in place. Like the rules in the UK
And
about
how far off that tunnel light is.
Yeah, it's like are we really going to have to maintain 2 meter social distancing while we're playing hockey?
Yeah.
Are we really going to have to get changed at home?
That's not going to happen.
Have you ever
anymore.
tried to get in a full hockey equipment and drive a car? Like I'm like, what?
I mean,
I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
You know what
I'd like to drive. But
I'm going to be honest with you. You'd get...
you get so much stick.
Yeah,
but then
you'd get
it
ripped-
everyone's
get
doing
ripped
it.
Yeah, but
for
it'd probably stop very quickly.
Yeah, because everyone would be doing it.
Where'd you get changed at home?
Yeah.
That's it. Just cancels that out.
It would be, do you know what? Just go back home.
Yeah,
that's
just
what
be
it'd be.
Like
That one junior player that got changed at home, just...
Oh, we all had them.
There you go.
I used to hate when my mum used to make me get ready on a Wednesday at home. So much stick.
There you go.
It's bad. Like you get abused for it.
And as a senior
I get
player...
it. No, I get it.
It's a bit like rec players when they have remember those RBK bags with wheels?
Or the
Like
blade...
an oversized
I like
carry
wheeled
trolley.
bags.
blade guards that have the rollers.
The roller-
on. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Those are bad. I never touched those, but I like wheeled bags.
You had a grip bag, didn't you?
I've got multiple wheeled bags, and I still use a wheeled bag today.
Got a TV screen in there.
Yeah,
Mini fridge.
I've got everything I need.
Coffee
in there.
maker.
Yeah, coffee maker and a microwave in there.
Everything.
Worst designed hockey bag in the world.
It's no.
Okay, for street creds.
Do you know how many? It doesn't matter about street creds. This is the thing. Like what people don't think about.
What did you have
is,
to rent? A transit van to get that in the back?
I want to swear so bad, but what you need to look at
Take it
is
Rick's van every time he goes to training.
so for you, here's the thing.
It's normal practical.
you two pricks. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Where does your equipment? Where is your equipment right now?
At the ring.
Where does your equipment live?
At the ring.
Stop talking
No,
about how we
mine's-
get our
mine's in the-
equipment to
mine's
the
in
ring.
the shed at the
Stop
moment,
talking
drying
about how
out.
other people get their gear to the ring.
No,
because
no.
if you have to walk across a car park that's like walking across the bloody Sahara Desert, takes you 16 days to get across it, and then you have to walk through the rink. You've got a lot of stuff in your bag. It's
Such a
heavy.
dramatic
Why am I going to
person.
throw that over my shoulder? It's logic.
I mean,
hang on.
hang
Let
on.
me knacker myself out because I'm a tough hockey player.
Are you
Instead
playing
of just
hockey or are you
throwing-
playing, like, you sound like you're playing like football.
I'm going to save my energy for the ice. I'm not going to save my energy to get my massive bag
Is it
across a
just
car
me?
park.
Chris, you sound like the sort of guy that probably has a protein shake for he goes on the ice as well, eh?
I don't.
Energy bar, bit one of those glucose tablets. Carrying a hockey bag is not difficult. There's no way about it. Why,
I've been carrying a bag
why
since
do-
I was
Why
10.
do rec players, and this is aimed at rec players, unfortunately, not a lot of people in mine and Tommy's position, why do you have stick bags?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I
I don't-
100% agree.
We have a team
Yep.
stick bag because that goes from one ice hockey changing room
to
onto a bus,
van or I
out
get
of
it.
the other, and that's it.
I'm
I
telling
get
you,
it.
Why
if
do you
someone
have
turn
personal
up with
stick
one,
bags?
I don't understand the logic of a stick bag for getting to the rink. There is one reason where I did use a stick bag, or there's actually two instances. So number one,
Oh, this is going to be good.
Number one, wait, the seats in my car are cream leather, and if you've got stick tape, and you rest with black tape on your stick blade, and you rest them on the back of the seats, all the carpets which are also cream, it marks it. So it's like, okay, I'll slip that into a bag, but then I stopped using wax and blah blah blah, so it's fine. Yeah. The other area that I use a stick bag is when I fly. Because if you put multiple sticks together and you bind them and then you tape them together, they are way safer when they go through security and go through baggage, etc.
I've probably been, maybe 20 plus times to tournaments abroad. I've broke one stick without it ever being in a stick bag.
Yeah, but where are you flying? Mainly to Europe, right?
Europe, Canada, US.
How frequent?
Caught once at the start of a week or two and then back.
No, but how frequently are you traveling throughout a year?
Cool. When I was younger, probably 2 or 3 times a year.
Okay, we'd be traveling more like 14, 15 times a year, maybe 16.
Cool, it's right for someone, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's
Show off much, jeez.
You know what I mean? Cool.
God.
Frequent air miles.
Flex much.
it's a hard life. But
Wow.
This is what makes it difficult for us, because what starts to happen is it's why we've got such a good indication of which hockey bags we like to use and why, which stick bags we would recommend using, and how to like bind your sticks when you're flying. Because when you put the same stick on an aircraft 20 times, you start to see where you could do things to make it better to be able to get out of the other side.
Yeah.
You can bubble wrap them, but the whole point is to bind the sticks together, like so it's a solid mass of
You've got
sticks.
fragile, good stickers on them.
There's no point. Like I know a few people that work in airports and they're like, don't bother. Like if anything, that makes them throw the
Bag
bags more.
handlers are savage.
Yeah, they're like, oh, fragile, is it?
Yeah.
Whoosh.
And
And
the
this
videos
is
you see of people on the plane going, "Oh, there's my bag." Guy just absolutely javelins it onto.
yeah.
the
This
trolley.
isn't a reflection of everyone that works in an airport. So please don't
just
take
be
it like that.
What?
We're just saying that in the experience of what we know, but doing things that way, it makes sense to have a stick bag. But obviously, if you're
can
taking 2
understand
sticks
that.
to the rink, and you need a bag to put them into, I don't necessarily see the point.
The people that take a stick bag to the rink for practice are the same people that get changed at home and have grit towel bags.
Could you imagine?
What's the problem with grit tower bags?
I can see where Jay's coming from. They're pretty
They're
bad.
terrible.
Grit
They
make
take up too
awesome
much
bags.
room.
No,
Yeah,
they
okay.
stand up. They
Okay.
take up less room.
Okay, and
You
how
can
do-
have it in front of you like a mini little closet. It's amazing. I like them.
Did he
Like a
really just
small
say that?
apartment.
I like
Did he
them.
really
Grit.
just say that?
Fold out bed, pillow, sleeping bag.
No, I've done plenty of videos on grit bags. In my opinion, grit are the kings of hockey
The
bags.
concept of them is good. I see, like you said, it appeals more to the beginners to hockey or people
The
that
juniors.
No, it appears. It appeals.
There we go.
It appeals to general hockey players. The problem is you live a very exclusive hockey experience
It's not
lifestyle.
exclusive.
You have your own locker room, your little section where all of your stuff
It's
is.
not
It
our
never
own locker
moves.
room. Everyone goes in there.
We have to share that.
Yeah,
Everyone
but
goes in there.
you have your spot. You have somebody that maintains your equipment. You have someone that looks after your stuff. It's different.
I can tell you now, the person that looks after our equipment is not good at the job. Am I lying? Who am I talking about, Jay? Am I lying? Am I lying?
Lord.
Am I lying?
From your perspective, yes, I see where you're coming from. It's not an exclusive lifestyle or anything like that. It's just
That was savage.
that's how it is.
He forgot someone's shorts before. The goalie shorts.
Yeah, I know that.
See?
Oh, the goalie.
Forgot the
shorts,
goalie
yeah.
shorts.
There have been a couple of instances
There
where
you
we have
go.
got to games and certain
There you
sticks
go.
haven't been there. Some guys have, a practice stick or
Or when it cuts the stick down, it's like that.
like a downhill ramp.
There you go.
Tommy woke up real quick, didn't he? He
Mate,
was so
I'm
sleepy at the start of this.
Yeah.
But no, this is my point. I think if you the problem with looking at equipment from that perspective is that if you look at it from your needs,
Yeah.
you'd be like, this makes absolutely no sense. But when you look at it from other people's perspectives or a more generalized perspective, it makes a lot of sense.
I think I'm also in that kind of category where I've seen guys have them and the abuse that they've taken. I'm a bit like,
Yeah.
oh. I'd like to class myself as one of probably the last remaining semi-old school kind of hockey experiences where, I
You
had it
mean
as a kid
narrow-minded
coming-
and unwilling to accept
not so
things that
much-
make your life
no,
easier?
No, not narrow-minded. Just I was, I've been around
took a
hockey
lot of
since
abuse
I
when
was
he was
4
younger.
or 5.
Oh, so now he's dishing it out.
Oh,
Yeah.
big time.
He's trying to,
You
he's
can't
still-
do it as much as I got it anymore. Like, without naming names, because I can't. But yeah, when I was like 15, 16, I used to train up with the men, and you especially at Romford, they'd all get off early. You had to put all the nets back yourself, get all the goals off the ice, pick up pucks. It was just
That still happens nowadays.
barrage of abuse, but it is nowhere near as bad as what it was. No way.
Why do you think
Now-
it's changed?
Because all the child protection.
Yeah, all the
and
child
stuff
protection
like
laws.
Whoa! What do you mean child protection laws? What the hell was going on?
That's how it is.
Yeah.
It's, now if you're an under 18 or under 16, you can't get changed if you're training up with the adults. and
Oh,
stuff
it's like
so,
that.
So they're
Unless you sign like a form that allows you to go in the changing room with the men.
the restrictions on what is deemed to be bullying or unacceptable.
It's just the laws have just got a bit tighter and more,
Yeah, I
maybe
think-
more sensitive. Could you say? Is that saying too much?
The world's more sensitive, Chris.
It
Look
is.
all you got to do is go onto Twitter once and somebody tweets something. You've hurt my feelings. Delete.
Jeez, I thought you were going to say something about what's going on now. I was just
No,
like,
we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. No way. Yeah, but no, I think that things are a little bit more tighter in what you can. I wouldn't say force anybody to do, because you could never do that. But it's you being a younger person, especially training up with men. It was like, if you were told to do something, you did it, or it was compulsory / advisable to pick up pucks at the end of practice, get the water bottles, make sure that things were set, because you were deemed to be a rookie. You were somebody who was training up. And
do you think that had good qualities or bad qualities? Being the rookie and being treated the way it was back in the day.
Good and bad. Sorry, I think it kind of educates you on having a bit of respect for your elders. You listen to people that have gone through those life experiences, whether that be hockey or life in general.
Yeah.
You always kind of, I wouldn't say squander, but you do always think, would so and so have done this if they were my age, or what would they have done in my position now, and stuff like that. So from a positive perspective, I think it's probably kind of built a lot of people.
Yeah, it builds character, but obviously it can also do a lot of damage as well.
Yeah,
it can also break people.
Oh, big time. You've got to be very kind of thick-skinned to play sports in general. I know a lot of people that play football at a high level and tell me that they get abuse all the time, and then they come to a hockey game or watch a hockey game and find out how bad that is. And they're like, oh, it's quite similar, if not a little bit worse. So you've got to be very kind of thick-skinned. You can't take anything too hard, because
I think that's one of the best elements,
nice.
though. Like, I know, like, walking into a locker room, like, I'm going to sideswipe that story because it's not the time. I just remembered.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
What
genuinely.
happened in this locker room?
No. It's not the time to discuss the subject. It was.
Wait a minute.
All I'll say is that I had with the first rec team I played with, Phoenix in Peterborough.
Yep.
I had a jersey for the team, and it was what the name of the back of the jersey was. I mean, for me, it was playful. Like,
Probably highly sensitive.
it was exactly.
How many years
yeah.
are we going back?
I'd say 6-7 years ago,
Oh, yeah.
maybe a bit more.
Times have changed hugely.
Yeah, it was and more
similar
than
times.
6-7 years ago. How would I know? It'd probably be maybe like 9 years ago, possibly.
Oh, so when the In-Betweeners was like allowed to be played on TV and that was acceptable.
I don't know. I didn't really watch that show.
So I just
Here we go
started
again.
playing hockey then, 9 years ago.
Yeah.
I think I've been playing about a year then.
Yeah, you're a lot younger than me though. But no, this is
all right, Chris.
this is this is the thing. I felt like it was nice to walk into a locker room because political correctness didn't exist. It's like you could get away with pretty much, like, to a very high degree of saying, so long as you could see everyone was cool with it, like, you would know how far you could push something.
Oh, of course.
And, a lot would be said that if that was a conversation that you were having publicly, like sat in a restaurant, that would be completely unacceptable.
Unacceptable. You'd probably be asked to leave.
Exactly. But in a locker room, it's just like, you're just shooting. I can't say the word. 'cause I don't wanna
We've
get-
always said there's no change room like a hockey change room.
Yeah.
There is no other sport changing room is like hockey. The amount
90% of it's off the cuff anyway.
Yeah.
Unless everyone's got one. A change room where, there's always someone that's either really quiet, or if they've got a joke, it's taken them a couple of days to kind of like think about, or they've thought about it and gone, I'm going to save that for the time.
Yeah.
90% of the time through, probably 98% of the guys, it's all off the cuff stuff.
It's unfiltered
very quick.
conversation.
Yeah.
And that's what's
for
so...
people from the outside, if they were to ever hear it and whatnot,
They'd probably sit there and be like, oh my god,
they'd be
these
like,
guys are meant
wow,
to be a team.
But I genuinely enjoy that element of it. Like, the first time I was exposed to that, I was just like, holy crap, like, this is awesome. Like, people just don't really don't really care.
It is a different world.
No one's being like intentionally spiteful or snide or disrespectful. You're just having a laugh, and whatever you say kind of like flies. I mean, people say some twisted stuff, and it's
You had no idea.
no, trust me, I do.
Bad stuff.
It's not, and even the stuff that just goes down in the locker rooms has been insane. Like anyone that has played for the team Phoenix, I hope to God they're the way they were 6-7 years ago, because it, like, you'd go in there and you'd leave with your sides hurting every single time you walked into that locker room. You didn't know what was going to go down. And that was one of the most enjoyable parts of playing rec. It was not only being on the ice, which you're only on the ice for an hour anyway, it was the whole locker room experience. And this is it. I am worried that this whole thing that's going on in the world right now is going to, in more than one way, not just the virus, just everything that's going on in the world is going to remove that element from it. And everything's going to be a lot more, people are going to be a lot more like, you know, restrained about what they say. They're going to be a lot more cautious about how they say things.
Yeah, of course.
And although that's a good thing, there'll be a lot of negative that comes with that as well, in my opinion.
I'll make you right. It's going to change things massively. Like you were talking about a moment ago with the back to play or the back to hockey phase situation. You know, if you're getting dressed at home, or you know you're only able to do small, like 5-6 guys at a time on the ice.
Yeah, phase one was 5 people maximum.
Yeah, it's
like, what can you do with 5 people on the ice?
Nothing.
That'd be a very expensive hour.
End-to-end icing.
That'd be a very expensive hour.
It is going to be tough, and like you said, it's going to be one of those. How long is each phase going to last?
Yeah, like when you walk into training and there's 5 people on the ice. How much is training tonight? Oh, it's going to be 140 quid each.
Yes.
What? Do you know? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's annoying. But I guess we'll just have to play it out and see what happens. But leading from there, with just this whole hockey thing in general, like, do you guys have an idea of where you want to end up with what you're doing with sports and obviously in the sense hockey? Like, what is the end goal?
I think for every like hockey player.
No, for you.
No, we're talking about personal goals.
Yeah, like what is your end goal for this whole thing? What is like the big dream?
I just want to get as far as I can, play for as long as I can, and enjoy it while I am. Hopefully, one day play it as a job, so I don't have to have a job on the side. But in England, that's quite hard to do. So, like I said, just enjoy it while I can, and play as long as I can. That's pretty much it.
What is there like a particular team or destination that you want to end up in?
No, not really, to be honest. I mean, I've played for quite a few teams after the old rink shut, so not too picky with teams, as long as, like, you know, team's strong, you get on well with the coach and the team. It's not too picky, to be honest, but it's just as long as you're enjoying the sport, and you know the love you have for the game is still there.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. As long as that love for that sport is there, you're gonna play as long as you can.
So long as you can play, as long as you can, and at the highest level that you can get to, that's kind of like that's what you want.
Yeah,
fair. And obviously to be able to do it like forever for full time.
As long as I can do it for.
What about you, Mr. JJ?
I think obviously having 9-10 years on Tommy mine now, probably a little bit more closer to the end now. Obviously being able to play and do it as much as I can, as locally as I can, has always been a goal of mine. Ideally to play for the Raiders as long as possible. Like Tommy said, as long as you're able to do it both physically, mentally, and your outside life isn't interrupted too much with what it already currently is by playing a full season. No, just playing for as long as you can, being as successful as you can personally and as well from a team perspective is always good. Ideally, kind of once I stop playing, I'd like to get into coaching at some point properly. Pass a bit of some knowledge that I might have left. That
seems so generic, guys. Like these are really your dreams. These are like if there was no limits, like you're saying that's.
Well, if in an ideal situation,
but we're being realistic.
I'm being
realistic here.
But a dream's not supposed to be realistic. Like, so what would you?
I thought we was talking about goals here, not dreams.
No. I mean, like, what? Like, I'm saying, like, what is the idea of what you want to get out of hockey? Like, in an ideal world, no restrictions, what would it be?
I'd have to be like 15 years younger, big time.
God, you're
15 stones lighter as well. But.
No, not like you said. If there were no limitations and you could do what you want,
yeah,
I would have. I'd have ideally taken myself abroad as soon as possible, and do whatever the small few that have done. They've gone abroad very early. kind of worked their way up, got better year in, year out, progressed up. If you were to look at where they started and where they are now, progressed up, whether that be playing, under 18, under 20 league, kind of progressing up to juniors, working your way through the junior leagues, and then eventually either playing college hockey, which is the end goal for some people because they want to have a good job or a good education alongside that, as well as playing hockey at a very, very good level. And then obviously the end goal for everyone who starts playing hockey is to play in the NHL and win a Stanley Cup. But
if we're being realistic,
if you're being realistic, with
but this is
at the moment.
I just don't think I don't think dreams are. We had this conversation a while back about like I'm a very big believer of if you want something, you have to say it. Like you actually have to say it out loud.
No, of course.
And this is the thing. So like when you set a dream, or like a goal or a dream, I see them in the same sort of light. It's you can't set something. Like why work your life to attain something that is easily attainable? It makes more sense to just go crazy lofty, and be like that's what I'm going to try and get to.
I'm 26. I'm 100% not going to make the NHL.
I'm saying like it's
just going to put it out there.
It's about lofty goals. Do you know what I mean? It's not about suggesting something or kind of like working towards something that is like, oh yeah, of course you'll be able to do that. It's like I'd rather sit there and visualize something that is madly unattainable and do whatever the hell I can to get as close to or to be able to get it as I can.
I mean, for me, obviously I'm younger than Jay, just getting started within my senior career. It's more about setting little goals that are still challenging, and once you reach that one, you then set yourself a new one.
That's good.
That each time, once you reach that one, it's then going to push you to another level to reach the next one. And that's just what I've been doing, since I hit 16 and started playing senior hockey. And I'm going to continue to do that instead of going big.
Yeah.
Because now all them little goals are going to push you to just work on different things each time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And push you to your limits each time. That's what's meant to happen with the short little goals instead of with the big one. Like some people are like, I'm going to play in the elite league. Whereas with the little goals, you actually have something to work towards.
Yeah, there's like a step in between. Because just saying that you want to get there, it's like, okay, that's great, but then what are the steps that you need to take?
You're going to take
exactly.
Yeah. That reminds me of a quote that I can't remember who originally said it, but Denzel said it in like a speech that he was giving these young actors, and it was, I'm trying to remember what he said. He said, "Dreams without goals remain dreams and ultimately fuel disappointment." And he's like, between goals and achievement is discipline and consistency. And I think that's the two things that if you're a good athlete, you have in abundance, because it's not easy to wake up and be consistent every day. And it's not easy to say, this is what I'm going to do and actually do it. So I definitely get where you're coming from in terms of like setting out like these small bite-sized steps to be able to go, okay, now I'm here, now I can get to the next point, and that's going to lead me on to...
The best thing about that is that you don't know how long it's going to take to get to the next one.
And everything takes longer than you think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So with that goal, you don't know how long it's going to take. With a few of mine have taken a lot longer than what I would have hoped and what I would have thought. But even when you get there, you then set yourself a next one, and it's just you don't know how long it's going to take, and each one pushes you further than what you think they're gonna. That's why I think the little ones are way better than the bigger ones.
Yeah, for sure. Without the little ones, you don't ever get to the end goal.
I mean, because with English hockey, some people are like, I want to play here. They get there and they sit on the bench because they haven't had that like stepping stone of getting better throughout the years. They've just gone, well, I signed here, but I'm sitting on the bench. I'm not actually playing. And some people are happy with that because they haven't progressed over the years. Say they sign a contract young and they just sit on the bench.
Yeah, it's a case of not doing it the right way.
Yeah, they're not getting no game time. They're just sort of sitting there.
Yeah, I think it's the argument of being a big fish in a little pond or a little fish in a big pond.
Yes,
It's
definitely.
trying to figure out, which one do you want to do? Like, do you want to be the biggest in your country or your school? It's like you have to figure out what you're trying to achieve, and also, I think the biggest thing for me is I kind of twigged a while back, like the goal is important. And you have to have goals and you have to have discipline and consistency to be able to progress. But the real kind of like buzz for me is the journey. Like, I'm not trying to get to the end goal and be like, I know what I want. Like, in case you guys are curious,
I'll get there as soon as I can.
I will answer my own question. It was like I effectively want to be the Top Gear of hockey. Like, it doesn't matter what country you're in. If you're like, oh, there's this new product out, oh, like I want to watch like a crazy documentary about like this crazy hockey travel adventure in in Hawaii, in the Bahamas. Like that's what I want to do, because not only do Top Gear provide like insane reviews
If
and
you were to get
comparisons,
those three, that would be incredible.
but that's literally what I want. But I'm learning that you could get there, and then the actual day-to-day runnings of what you do would kind of like lose meaning and lose effect. Whereas right now, the journey of creating the content to be able to hopefully one day get us to that point is the best part of it.
Yeah.
It's enjoying now while also still putting a bit of thought into tomorrow, and absolutely not looking back at yesterday. And that's kind of like the way that I try and look at things. But I completely
Is that
get
from a film?
I
It
literally
sounded like it, but it was good. I liked it.
No, that just came out. I'm king of
Good for you, man.
I'm
Good
king
for
of
you.
ramblings.
Good for you, off the cuff, just.
Yeah, no, but it's something that I genuinely do think about, and I think it's a very important way for people to kind of like maybe consider living, because when you think too much about yesterday, that's pointless because you can't change it. Thinking about today is important. And it, in my opinion, it is the most important, because whatever you do now is what influences tomorrow. But you still need to be acting according in terms of, if I do this now, that will help me tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's important to have that mindset, but not get too caught up in, the future or the past, because
That definitely happens in hockey as well. Because I mean, how many shots do you reckon we have in a game, Jay? In a game, probably 5.
5 or 6.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
Some players will miss a shot and that'll be it. They'll be annoyed. They'll be frustrated.
Yeah.
And then they'll miss the next one, and it'll just be a long train. Whereas if you miss it, and you're like, damn, I'll get it next time. Obviously, it's still in the back of your head that you missed the last one. So then the next time you get the next one, you're like, you know what, I'm putting this one in.
yeah. But the first one's done.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. But some people don't do that. They're like, I missed the first one. Like, I'm annoyed now.
Yeah.
I'm like, screw it. We've definitely played with some people like that. And it's just, you just see, it's a long train of just bad. It starts as like miss one shot, and then it's just a train wreck. And they just play worse each shift.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing about optimism versus pessimism. It's you have to be like glass is half full if you want to progress. But aside from that, I think from a team perspective, it's probably really important as well, because the energy that one player, embodies can be passed around the team. If somebody's feeling like drained and negative and bitter and angry, that's not the kind of environment that you want in a locker room or on a bench, because it spreads.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely the last thing that you would need. But it's important, that you guys, that's how you view things. It's like, yeah, that didn't work out that one time, but that was just that one time. Now let's move on to the next one.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That's where most people go wrong. They all set these massive goals, and they just don't work out, and then they're just like, oh, screw it, never mind, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give up. Whereas they need to have that big goal, but they also need to set the little ones as well.
Yeah.
Because that's where all the progress happens to then get you to that one. Like you said, with being the top gear of hockey, you're doing those little things. It's the same within sport. I can bet your life all the big hockey players and all the big football players all had them little goals.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't think many people do it. They all just like, set this goal. If I don't get there, then nah.
Yeah, that's it.
I think it's not knowing how to, or not even knowing that that's how you're supposed to do it. Because, a lot of us are either lucky enough to have lived a life where we've learnt these things as we've kind of grown up. A lot of us are lucky to have mentors that have kind of been
definitely.
hey, this is what you need to consider. This is what you need to do. And I think it's the unfortunate few people that don't have access to that.
I agree and disagree. I think over the last decade or so, more so in the last maybe 2 or 3 years, these social media influencers or life coaches, as some people, kind of have as their job title, there's a lot more of them around, and whether they're self-made or, like you said, about a mentor that have pretty much kind of showed them the way and the positive outlook that you should have on life to get what you want.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more of them available than what there has been in the past, and I know I'm changing kind of my lifestyle just to, like you said, be a bit more positive about things. If something bad has happened, unless anyone's got a time machine we don't know about, then you've got zero. It's impossible for you to change what's happened. You can only make your life better day in, day out by doing the right things and staying positive and worrying about what you can control. You can't change or do anything out of your control, and a lot of people are starting to realise that people are becoming more
Yeah.
positive and changing their life for the better. And it's always about kind of taking the right path. You take the wrong path and go down a dark and dangerous route of whatever that may be for each person, or you want to grow yourself as a person year in, year out, like you said, and like Tommy said, you make small goals. Once you achieve those, you jump up a step, and before you know it, you look back and you're 100 steps above where you started. Whereas if you take that one big jump to a big goal and you don't achieve it, people just stay at the bottom, and that's where you find yourself working a dead-end job, not much kind of going for yourself, and before you know it, you're 40, 45, and that's it. You look back and you regret things. So
No, for sure. I think it's just about making sure people are aware of the fact that the only thing that stands in anyone's way is their own mindset. And it's very easy to look at a situation and be like, oh, that person's lucky. Oh, that person's been able to do that. Like, I personally have never believed in luck. I believe like you create your own luck.
You have to work for whatever you get.
Yeah, and aside from that, it's also the type of energy and the type of situations that you surround yourself with. I don't think people realize how big an impact the company you keep and the media that you consume influences your lifestyle, your decisions, the way you think, the way you perceive the world. It plays such a big role, and it's why I think it's important for people to be very cautious about who and what they surround themselves with, because it will take its toll on you. If you're surrounding yourself with people that are doing nothing but BS and, doing nothing but causing trouble, or doing nothing but, doing things that in hindsight, if your parents knew that they were doing that, or your family and close friends knew that was happening, they would be incredibly disappointed or disgusted.
You'll just slowly absorb it.
Yeah, how can you expect
that will become normal for you?
Exactly. It's like how can you eat crap and expect to have a good physique and a good body? It's whatever you put into your mind and whatever you surround yourself with is what you become. If you surround yourself with trash, guess what? You're going to become trash. It's as simple as that. Like, I've never met anyone that is doing what they want to do in life, that is successful, depending on how you view the term success, that is doing nothing but surrounding themselves with negativity, crap, soul-sucking people that are pessimistic, like bad people. It just doesn't happen. I mean, once you get to that point, yeah, maybe you can surround yourselves with that and get away with it. But on the way up, it's about like clearing a path and making sure that you're only kind of not around things that are going to benefit you, but around things that are positive, that are influencing you for the better, not for the worse.
You want to be around people that are going to push you.
For sure.
Push you and tell the truth. They're the ones you want to be around. Whereas if like you get down, especially within hockey teams, your teammates pick you up more than you'd think. So especially like we said, when you miss a shot or have a bad turnover and a goal goes in, like you see some sports teammates like they argue with each other. They're like, oh, that was your fault. That doesn't happen in hockey.
Yeah.
90% of the time, you'll have a teammate come over, like put their arm around you, like, oh, don't worry, go get one back, or do something to benefit the team. And I don't think that happens enough in other sports.
I don't think it happens enough in life.
No.
Like when you hit a rock bottom moment, people come around you, put their arm around you, be like, it's fine. Let's get at it next. We'll crush the next one.
That definitely happens within our team. The amount of people that pick each other up in
That's how it should be, though.
for our team is good.
You won't be successful if you haven't got, like you said, a close-knit team, or in life, like you said, you won't be successful if you've got people around you that are willing to be there at your worst and help you get to be your best.
So, guys, this brings us to the last official episode of the season 1 Beyond the Boards podcast. Like I said, there'll be a bonus episode coming with myself, Curtis, and Josh. That episode is going to be filmed on the 9th of June. So hopefully I'll be able to get it out maybe by the 10th or the 11th, but we'll just have to see and wait. And then after that, there'll be a bit of a break while we kind of get the guest list ready for season 2, get the set ready for season 2, and also we need to switch up some of the equipment that we're using so the sound is better, there's less interference in the background. We're going to set up the Gary cam, isn't that right, Gary? We're going to get the Gary cam going so when Gary chimes into the podcast, you can see exactly how he's feeling about what he's saying. But as always, thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for following, subscribing, rating the podcast on Apple Podcasts, and as well as all of the other platforms as well. And we're enjoying doing this, so I'm looking forward to coming back with season 2 and sharing more topics and having chats with guests. But we've got some awesome guests. If you watched the video on our YouTube channel about the NHL equipment customizer Marco, I'm aiming to make him the first guest of season 2 because that guy has got stories for days. Like some of the people that he's worked with.
Tease there, do you like
like
that?
honestly,
I like
like
that.
some of the people that he has worked with, the stuff that we were talking about off camera. I mean, Ricky behind the camera doesn't even like hockey, But he was like, bloody hell, like this guy's got some stories.
You couldn't have sounded any more British.
Yeah. Pardon?
You couldn't have sounded any more British.
I know, right?
I was
Do you want
thinking
me to
that.
switch and start speaking in Swahili or something, just so I
No,
can?
but that was like trademark Brit.
All we needed was a cup of tea and fish
Yeah.
and chips.
Oh no.
Let's not bring back the cup of tea and fish and chips thing,
I
guys.
can't.
Yeah, we'll cut there.
We're waiting for Galleria and Zizi's to open. Can't wait. But yeah, anyways, guys, I can't wait till the restaurants are open, mate. I'm sick of cooking at home. But guys, thank you so much for watching. No, it's not salmon. It's lamb,
me as
actually.
one of
lamb.
It's lamb.
Strike me as one of those guys who has like a tuna toasty.
Oh.
I wouldn't make one, but I will gladly receive one. If somebody wants to make me one and give me one, then it's fine.
There we go. We'll leave it there.
I agree
Thanks,
with
guys.
Jay on
Stay
this
safe
one.
and stay positive.
Yeah, see you later, guys.
Thank you for rocking with us, guys. Until next time. Peace.